There was once a wealthy man who had two sons. He loved both of them deeply. They lived on a beautiful farm with many workers, animals, and fields of grain. The father had built his home with hard work and faith in God. The older son worked hard every day, helping his father in the fields. But the younger son was different. He often looked out beyond the farm and dreamed of another life, a life of fun, adventure, and freedom. He didn't want to wait. He wanted to live his own way right now. One morning, the younger son went to his father and said, "Father, please give me my share of the inheritance. I want what belongs to me now." The father looked at his son with sad eyes. He knew his child was not ready, but he loved him. So, with a heavy heart, he divided his wealth between the two sons. The younger son packed his bags, took his money, and left home. He did not say goodbye to his brother. He did not think about the land or the people who loved him. All he could think about was the freedom waiting for him in the world beyond. As he walked away, the father stood at the gate, watching him disappear down the road. He did not stop him. He only prayed quietly, "Lord, keep him safe. Bring him back to me." The older brother stood at a distance, arms crossed, angry and confused. "Why does he get to take the money and leave? I'm the one who stays and works." But the father said nothing. His heart was already broken, and so, the younger son left his father's house, full of joy and pride. He did not know what was waiting for him on the road ahead. The younger son traveled far away to a big city. Everything was new and exciting. There were bright lights, music, laughter, and crowds. He had never seen such a place before. He made many new friends quickly. Wherever he went, he spent money. He bought fine clothes, ate delicious food, and threw big parties. People loved him not for who he was, but for what he had. Each day, he lived without care. He forgot about his father. He forgot about home. He forgot about wisdom. The money in his bag made him feel powerful, but soon, the gold coins stopped clinking. One day, he reached into his bag and it was empty. Every coin was gone. His new friends disappeared. The music stopped. The food was gone. At the same time, a great famine came over the land. Food became very expensive, and there were no jobs. The young man, once proud and full of joy, began to beg, but no one helped him. People passed him on the street and turned away. He went from house to house, looking for work. Finally, a farmer offered him a job to feed pigs. Day after day he worked in the pig pen. He was hungry, cold, and dirty. The pigs ate better than he did. Sometimes, he looked at their food and wished he could eat it too. He sat in the mud, weak and tired. His clothes were torn. His body was thin. Tears fell from his eyes. Then, he remembered home. "How many of my father's servants have food to eat, and I'm here starving?" He whispered. "I will go back to my father. I will say, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I am not worthy to be called your son. Please, let me be like one of your servants.'" He stood up slowly. He was ashamed. He was afraid. But something deep inside gave him hope. With a heavy heart and empty hands, the prodigal son began the long journey back home. The young man walked slowly along the dusty road. His feet were tired. His clothes were torn and dirty. His heart was full of shame. He didn't know what his father would say. Would he be angry? Would he reject him? But he kept walking, step by step, mile after mile. Back at home, the father had never stopped waiting. Each day, he looked down the road, hoping to see his son. Even though many months had passed, he still believed that his child would return. One evening, as the sun was setting, the father stood at the gate. He looked far into the distance and suddenly, he saw a figure walking toward the house. The man was thin, dirty, and slow, but the father knew that walk. He gasped, dropped everything, and ran toward him. The son saw his father running and fell to his knees. He cried out, "Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I am not worthy to be called your son." But before he could say more, the father lifted him up and hugged him tightly. Tears filled his eyes. "My son," he whispered, "you were lost, but now you are found. You were dead, but now you live." The father shouted to his servants, "Quick, bring the best robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. Kill the fattened calf. We are going to celebrate." Everyone in the house rushed about, preparing the feast. Music filled the air. Joy returned to the home. The son could hardly believe it. He had expected anger, maybe rejection, but instead, he received love. He had left with pride and returned with shame. but his father had forgiven him completely. That night, the house was filled with dancing, laughter, and joy. The father smiled, his heart full again, but someone else in the house was not smiling. In the fields, the older brother was working hard. When he heard the music and saw the celebration, his heart began to burn with anger. The older brother was returning from the field. He had worked hard all day under the hot sun. As he came closer to the house, he heard music and dancing. He stopped and called one of the servants. "What is happening?" he asked. The servant smiled and said, "Your brother has come back. Your father is so happy he returned safely. He killed the fattened calf and is throwing a big celebration." The older brother's face changed. He frowned and shook his head. He felt anger rising in his chest. "My brother?" he said bitterly. "The one who ran away and wasted everything. And now there's a feast for him?" He refused to go inside. He stood outside the house, arms crossed, heart full of pride and hurt. When the father heard his older son was outside, he came out to talk with him. "My son," the father said gently, "come and rejoice with us. Your brother has come back." But the older son said angrily, "All these years I've served you. I never disobeyed you. Yet you never gave me even a young goat to celebrate with my friends. But when he comes back after wasting your money, you throw him a party?" The father looked at his older son with kindness. "My son," he said, "you are always with me. Everything I have is yours. But we had to celebrate. Your brother was lost and now he is found. He was dead but now he lives." The older brother stood silently. He looked toward the house. He could hear the joy, the music, the laughter, but inside his heart, a choice had to be made. Would he forgive? Would he join the celebration? Or would he stay outside holding on to his anger? The father waited, hoping the older son would understand. The night was alive with music, laughter, and joy. Inside the house, the younger son sat with his father, surrounded by servants and family. He could hardly believe he was home again. His heart was still soft with tears, but it was also full of peace. The robe he wore reminded him that he was accepted. The ring on his finger reminded him that he was still a son. The sandals on his feet reminded him that he was no longer a servant but part of the family again. But outside, the older brother still stood in silence. His heart was heavy. He had worked hard, obeyed every rule, but still felt forgotten. Then, the father said softly, "My son, I have never stopped loving you. You have always been with me, but your brother was lost. He is found. Let us be glad together." The father put his hand on the older son's shoulder. "I don't want to lose you too," he said. "Come inside. Rejoice with us." The older brother looked at his father's face. He saw no anger, no judgment, only love. The same love the father gave to the younger son, he also gave to him. Slowly, the older brother began to understand. The father's love was not about earning or deserving. It was about grace. Whether someone stayed or left, made good choices or bad ones, the father still loved both sons deeply. The story ends here, but the message is clear. God is like the father in the story. He waits for his lost children to return. He forgives, he restores, and he celebrates. His love is not small. It is full, wide, and never ending. Whether you are like the younger son who walked away, or the older son who stayed but felt unseen, God's arms are always open. "Come home," the father says. "I have been waiting for you."